Buddy, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. I'm so excited for you to meet today's guest. She is a vegan weightlifter, and we're going to learn all about her story and how she became a weightlifter and how she became vegan. And meeting her for the first time today, her name is Ramona Cadogan. Please welcome her to the show. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Chef AJ.
Okay, the first thing I got to say is I know you're never supposed to ask a woman her weight or her age, but I was listening to a podcast with you and you said you were 50. When I look at you, I thought maybe 30.
I take care of myself, and it's the vegan diet helps, but also it's the holistic approach of meditation, relaxing, doing what you love, staying stress-free. Some genetics, that's true, but it's just being in tune and being in good vibes, no matter what.
Well, you're going to have to tell everybody how to stay stress-free. But what I love about your story, Ramona, is you were vegan before you were a weightlifter. And so many, I love all the vegan athletes, things like game changers, because they're going to change people's minds when they see that you don't need meat to be fit and muscular. But you actually were vegan first. So all your muscle was built on a vegan diet.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And you've been vegan for, I think, 15 years now.
Yes. Since 2006. Yes.
And what made you go vegan?
I became vegan, just my own instinct, my own intuition, my own feelings. You know, I just felt that when I ate the animals that I was taking in their emotions, their feelings, and, you know, and not being respectful of their living, their life. And so I didn't have to listen to any movies. I just felt about it and I just went into it.
So literally you woke up one morning and said, you know what? I'm vegan now.
Yes. Cold turkey.
Cold tofurkey.
Yes. I like that.
That's fantastic. So when did you start doing weightlifting?
I started weightlifting in 2013. And I've been doing it ever since, but I've been fit, you know, prior to 2013, not in the sport of weightlifting, but just regular bodybuilding, taking cardio classes, yoga classes, Pilates classes, HIIT classes, hula hoop classes. I'm an avid hula hooper too as well. So yeah, just been fit as a young kid, taking tap, ballet, toe, jazz, and just being mindful about my body.
I think when you get bitten by the exercise bug earlier, it's easier because there's a lot of us that have been late to the party where fitness is concerned.
Yes, that has been, yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, I mean, a lot of people who want to change and feel that they can be more healthier on a vegan lifestyle, and while competing as an athlete, and I have some clients who I work with that want to see the benefits of using fitness for veganism. But I always remind them that I started out where I went into veganism because of animals, because I didn't want to harm the animals. I always give them my story of how I became vegan, and vegan first because of the animals.
Well, but I love that because that's when a lot of us, me too. So terrific. When you weren't vegan, were you a pretty healthy eater, or what was your eating like before?
Yeah. So prior to veganism, I was a vegetarian from 2000 to 2006, and you know, then prior to that, I was obviously a complete meat eater. You know, where I did full range, hormone-free, pesticides, and all that stuff. I did the holistic approach of being non-vegan. So now I do holistic veganism now.
Nice. Is any of your friends and family vegan?
Unfortunately, not. No, not at all. Not that I know of. I mean, I may have one family connection through marriage. She does some chef work, and she's also vegan. And she's in, I think she's in what part of California? I think San Jose. Yeah. I never met her, but definitely I see her information on Facebook, and she's family through marriage. Yeah.
Well, you know, I see your pictures on Instagram and I've seen a few of you in a bathing suit and you look amazing. You would think that just for that reason, they would consider it.
But yeah, that's a good point. It's just I look at I take veganism as a whole picture, as a whole, the whole frame of it, and creating the frame of the body requires discipline, knowing how to use micronutrients, and just being patient and knowing how to, use and fuel veganism to your advantage.
Did you feel any difference when you went vegan in the way you recovered from your workouts?
Yes, so that's a good question. I felt that when I used to eat meat, I felt very bloated. I felt very tired, less energy, because usually after you train, you have protein and carb mix. And just, having steak and having beef and all that stuff, I felt that it weighed me down. It weighed me down. And so instead of as like a post workout, I could do a protein shake, or, with carbs, or I could do like, just lentils and different nuts and seeds and beans and greens. I use a lot of sprouts in my diet from Perfect Foods, which is based in upstate New York, with Rebecca Maxwell. So I get deliveries every week from her, and it's phenomenal because greens have plant protein, and I use a lot of plant protein as well, and pea protein as well for extra recovery. Sleep is recovery. Meditation is recovery. Going in the salt cave, the Himalayan salt caves, those are recovery. Sauna is recovery. It's just different ways to recover depending on what your training is about.
Nice. Yeah. So I was watching some video of you, and I don't understand the metric system, I'll be honest, and you always talked in kilograms, but it sounds to me like you can lift over 300 pounds, which is probably close to 3 times your weight, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah. So I would say my best back squat is 120 kilos, which is 264 pounds. My best deadlift is actually 305 pounds. So that's the most I ever lifted over 300 pounds. My deadlift, which is 305 pounds. Yeah.
That's incredible. I have trouble with the 10-pound weight. How did you get into that sport? And are you finding there are more women that are interested in the kind of weightlifting you're doing now?
I think I think they're gradually getting more involved and interested in it because there's so many different sports that benefit from it. CrossFit has weightlifting in it as well. So certain athletes, I know who do soccer, people who do swimming, they transition. People who are gymnasts, a lot of these athletes transition into weightlifting because they find there's some common aspects of that. And weightlifting, it's about balance, it's about strength, it's about mobility, it's about power. So you involve. It's a lot of these explosive, like when you're a gymnast, has a lot of power, and so it can translate into weightlifting. So certain sports complement. In football, they do a lot of cleans in football and part of their training. So a lot of sports involve Olympic weightlifting.
How is weightlifting different than bodybuilding?
Yes. So bodybuilding is more where you're focusing on just building muscle, just building muscle. There's bikini bodybuilding, there's physique uh, bodybuilding. There's different ranges and different types of bodybuilding or categories that people compete in, right? So it's more like if you're in a bikini, it's more lean type of look with less muscle. And then physique is more in between bikini and bodybuilding, huge bodybuilding. So it's different. And regular bodybuilding is like you really look really like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He used to compete in bodybuilding. That's different. That's just using weights, using reps, slow reps with heavy weights, and just different varieties of tweaking your muscle. Yes, you use some cardio, but not that much. With Olympic weightlifting, you're using a bar. You have to learn about stability, balance, coordination. To my opinion, it's more focus. It's more using your mind and learning how to control your muscles by using your mind. And it's just a whole different level of sport. It's very powerful. So you're doing a lot of different movements. With bodybuilding, you're just using just weights and using machines. Yeah. So in Olympic weightlifting, you're not using machines. You're using a bar. You have plates. So it's just different movements and different styles.
So in the type of weightlifting you compete in, is it more about how much you can lift rather than like the definition of your muscle or how you look?
Right. It's about how much you can lift. Yeah, based on your body weight and your age category and whatever style you're into. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever, like, how much muscle, like, I know you can get body fat calculated, like how much muscle do you have?
Yeah, actually, years ago, I've done a fat analysis test. I haven't done it recently, but that's definitely, if you're into bodybuilding, you definitely need to have that number, on point. It's not really mandatory, for Olympic weightlifting, but I remember last time when I did it, I had about maybe like 19% like body fat at one point.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Is there a certain amount of weight you aspire to be able to lift someday? Like maybe a car?
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. Definitely. I do weightlifting to empower others, that you could be vegan and you could be strong and you don't need to have meat to have that strength. So for me, I do it for that purpose. And if the records definitely come, then it'll come naturally. I don't think about breaking records. If it happens and I'm at that point, then I will definitely go for it.
Well, I know you've won a lot of medals. Do you have them to show? And what did you have to do to win them? And what were the different types of games that you competed in to win them?
Yes, definitely. I do have some medals. Let me just step away for 1 second. I'll be right back. I have them right here.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions for Ramona, type them in the chat. I know you're asking where she's from. She's in New York. I don't know the exact city, but I'm sure can't you guys tell by the accent? I'm sure she can tell us when she comes back. And thank you guys so much for watching the summit and for your kind words. I appreciate it. I missed you guys. I couldn't even remember how to do Restream today. So that's why we were a couple of minutes late. I hadn't done it in 9 days.
So, one second, I'm gonna take a little photo for my phone.
Let's see. And Thomas Allen, I see you're watching live. Thank you so much for your support of the summit and for all the vinegars you donated as prizes for a day.
So I do have some pictures here I can show here. I can just bring this down here. I don't know if you can see some of the medals here?
Yeah, what looks like about 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah. So I have more, but these are the most recent ones. Yeah, from the last, I guess, few years. Yeah, so my last medal was at the 2020. No, actually that's right. Actually, 2019 Pan American Games. I'm the 2-time Pan American champion. I won it in 2018 and 2019. Unfortunately, last year I didn't compete in any major competitions. I did compete. I did compete at a local meet in Brooklyn, New York, in 2020, where I was basically close to breaking the records in the snatch and in the clean and jerk in 2020 in a meet in March, which is about almost a year from now. And then with the pandemic and everything like that, so I've been definitely rebuilding. And my next competition is at the Nationals in Orlando, mid-March, and then the Worlds sometime, I think, ending of May, and those will be online. So the Nationals is going to be in Orlando, and the World Championship is going to be online. And then they have other competitions I might compete in too. And there's another major competition in 2022, which is the World Master Games. It's going to be maybe online, maybe in person, just not sure. We don't know what the climate will look like, in 2022. So, yeah. So I've I took a second at my first national championships in 2016. I took in 2017 my first American Masters competition. I took second. I won first place twice at 2 Pan American Games back to back. And I took first place at the Arnold competition, which was in Columbus, Ohio. So yeah, so I won gold medals there, a few gold medals there, and I competed in many local meets. I took second at the World Cup in San Diego, and that was in 2019.
Wow. Are you on Long Island?
Yes, I am. I'm in
Okay,
Nassau County.
right, because somebody I think that knows you is watching. I just saw them. They used the hashtag. Let me find it again. Julie says, "Hi, Ramona. Good to see you." And the hashtag Long Island Strong.
Thank you so much, Julie. Yeah, let's connect afterwards. Yes.
Yeah. So here's a fun question from Carla. She says, "Do you ever get tired of people asking you where you get your protein?"
That's a good question. I never really get tired of it. I just, I have a lot of patience, and I just explain to them that, there's the different types of resources where you get where your protein from, and I help educate people who want to learn more about it, and I try to make it fun and make it entertaining for them.
Wow. I think that sometimes it depends how long you're vegan, whether or not you get annoyed by that question. Because I'm at 44 years and I've gotten that question quite a bit. So, but I try to be kind. Sometimes I do a little bit of humor when I answer it as well.
Yeah.
In addition to the medals, do they give you like money or something to?
That's a good question. The sport, unfortunately, doesn't. It's all about just having fun and enjoying yourself. There's some meets that it will provide you with prizes and money, but most of them are just medals and just breaking records and having fun and inspiring others to get into the sport.
Have you met anybody else that is both female and a vegan weightlifter?
That is a good question. I met a few people, and they, definitely enjoy the journey. And I haven't met too many people, but I've met a few people, and we talk and we chat. But recently, haven't connected with anyone for a while.
Wow. Okay. So I have some questions on. There's someone here that my chat goes quickly. So sorry for the delay. When I see the question, it moves quickly. But she's a power lifter, and she wants to know how you preload. Here it is from Minda. I'm a heavy lifter. How do you preload calories to fuel your session?
Oh yeah. I mean, some people, count calories. Some people, it's just to fuel my session, depending what I'm doing and depending what type of training. If I'm doing a heavy session, definitely like an hour and a half to 2 hours, I'll have complex carbs. Like for instance, here is an example of, say, a breakfast that I have right here, where I have oatmeal, I have blueberries in here, I have almond milk. Sometimes I might put almond butter in here. Sometimes I might do that, or different types of nut butters in here. It just, I need to have oatmeal. Oatmeal has protein and it also has carbohydrates. So if I'm doing an intense workout, I will have something like this to fuel me up. And then maybe like 10 minutes before I train, I might have some fresh oranges or tangerines that I would have as a pre-workout. That's what I usually use as a pre-workout for the quick energy. The carbs you just saw right here is more for fast acting energy. And yes, my protein has branched chain amino acids, and they give me that extra kick and that extra boost. And it's also staying hydrated. Hydration also gives you energy. People don't think about it, but it does. I never drink and eat at the same time. So at some point before I train, I will have my alkaline water, maybe, I don't know, half a gallon, depending how I feel. I'll mix it up. And then a half an hour after I have that water, or 45 minutes after I have that water, then I'll have this meal that I just showed you here. If it's going to be a huge, intense workout, because if you drink and eat at the same time, it slows down your digestion, and you can't absorb the nutrients. You feel bloated, and so it's definitely a balance. And I have the B12. Yes, yes, yes. I do B12 and other supplements too, vegan base, that will also fuel me.
That's interesting. I'm almost 61. I'll be 61 in a few weeks. And I have never had a meal in my life where I ate and drank at the same time. And it's not because anybody told me. It was just instinctively, it didn't make sense to me, because you never see an animal in nature that eats and drinks at the same time.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
I always felt it was so bizarre when they say, what do you want to like, why would you drink if you're eating? It's like, to me, they're just completely separate functions, and I agree, especially with somebody with digestion. So here's a fun question from Carla. Do you have a regular job too?
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Of course. That's yeah. So I've been in education since 1993. I have a bachelor's degree in biology, a minor in math, a minor in Spanish, and a master's in education from Adelphi University. So I've taught in different city schools, New York City public schools, taught in Long Island, I taught in private schools, and I've been doing it a long time. I'm still involved in the educational field. I have my own tutoring coaching services. It's more like academic coaching as opposed to tutoring. The coaching aspect is looking at the whole child holistically and helping them with their performance if they're struggling, and also provide enrichment with different subjects and test preps, pre-K to college, mainly online now because of the COVID. But I do, sometimes work with people in person, and also I do vegan coaching for beginners and for athletes, and for anyone who wants to learn about the lifestyle in general, or for performance online also. Mm-hmm.
For the students that you're working with, do you tell them to go vegan?
Yeah, I mean, parents have mentioned to me about what their children eat, and I say to myself, well, I'm not a nutritionist, but I know what's healthy and what's not. So, I once the conversation comes up, then I might mention some suggestions, and if they want to take it further, who I would recommend people um, that could help the child or whoever, to help with them to get the best information with going vegan if they have an interest for it. Yeah.
Great.
Also, a lot of homeschooling people. I work with homeschooling families, and a lot of homeschooling families that I work with online or in person. Some of them and their families are vegan.
That's terrific.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
Gina says, I want to learn how to weightlift so much. How did you start and learn what exercises to do when? And then there's another question about this from Monarch. When do you decide to add more weights?
Yes, yes. That's a good question. So definitely, if you go to USA weightlifting, and then you just look for coach. You can find coaches that could help you to start how to do Olympic weightlifting as well. That person want to gets in touch with me, I could help them find the best coach in their area. And also I know a great online coach or in-person coach. So if they want to have the best coach, I could help them. If they want to, if they can contact me, I'll give them the information. And the other question is, how do you know when you can go up on more weight? Well, the technique is very important. Technique. If your technique is good, steadily with that same weight over a period of time, then you can go up in the weight. You don't go up in weight if your form and technique is off.
Nice. Do you happen to know who is the woman that can lift the most weight in the world? Is she still alive? Do you know her?
No, I don't. I don't. I guess it's Guinness Book of Records. I never. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that that lift lots of weights. But I know that guy Patrick. You know that guy Patrick? I think he's from Germany. I think. He lives.
Patrick Baboubian?
Yes, I know about him.
Yeah, I met him once. He's the guy, but who's the woman that holds the record?
Yes, I don't know of him.
Well, maybe it could be you.
No. I mean, I could be for my age and weight class, but I mean, there's different divisions in weightlifting, you know, and you know, I do very good for my age and weight class. So there's records within each age group and weight class in weightlifting. So there's different divisions. So I compete in the masters division, age 35 and up. Yes.
How many hours a day do you spend doing this?
Well, Olympic weightlifting, I train usually 4 days a week, maybe like 2 hours, 4 days a week approximately for weightlifting. Also, I do cardio endurance training twice a week with rowing and weights. I do a lot of mobility almost every single day. I have a mobility coach. And also have physical therapists to make sure everything's aligned and as a preventative, you know, to stay fit and energized. And I have a great coach that helps me with my form and everything like that. Yeah.
If some people are saying, can they contact you? Would you be willing to work with them and be their coach if they wanted to get into this?
Yes, I could definitely help them. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure all that information is in the show notes. That's great. So let's see how Joanne says, what does she take after lifting as far as supplements?
Okay. So like I said, most of my nutrition comes from vegan whole plant-based food. I do supplements, but I don't rely, you know, on them. So for example, here is something maybe I would, you know, have for maybe lunch, but it depends on what you know what I'm training because it's different. So here I have different sprouts here with pecan balsamic dressing by Mama Zez. You know Mama Zez, right? You know that's the
yeah, Mama says, yep, love them.
Yes. So I have the dressing. It's very good. There's no oil. So here is the dressing that I use from the company, and it's no oil. It's very, you know, low in sugar, but tastes phenomenal. They have so many of these, and I like to put this, you know, and I have kelp, which is very, you know, with iodine, kelp granules right here. I put that into my salad as well, very important. And nutritional yeast also I put into my salad for additional protein. So like I said, these greens all have protein in them already. And there's sprouts I mentioned. I have radish sprouts are in there with Mama Z's balsamic pecan. Oh, delicious. Because it has, you know, definitely the pecan, meaning the nuts and seeds aspect of the veganism, and the kelp for the iodine, because a lot of people are lacking iodine in their diet. So that's important. I put it into my salads.
Are there any vegan bodybuilders or weightlifters that have inspired you?
Oh, Patrick, that guy. He's very, 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 very inspirational. Very, very inspirational. Watching him and everything.
Yeah. I'm guessing you saw the movie Game Changers.
Yes. I mean, I love. I'm happy that it finally came out. Yeah, and a lot of athletes. I think Serena Williams is vegan. Djokovic, I think he has some part of him being veganism and everything. I think he was part of the Game Changers. I remember that. Yeah. The tennis player who just won the Australian Open. He owns a plant-based vegan restaurant somewhere in Europe. Mm-hmm.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm seeing if there's any more questions for you. But I like that you. So before you became vegan, I know you were always fit and into fitness, but you weren't doing the heavy lifting, correct?
Yeah. At one point, I used to do a lot of heavy body building as well. but it was just part of just a regular routine of taking a lot of cardio classes. I took spin classes, step classes back in the day, just a lot of plyometric classes, Pilates, yoga, a lot of, and I still keep up with the yoga. I incorporate the yoga in my routine. Stretching is definitely very important. I incorporate cardiovascular activities into my training for the cardiovascular health. Weightlifting is great because it gives you strength and power and everything like that. But what works your heart a lot is that endurance. I do a lot of rowing with a rower, just hula hooping, jump roping, plyometrics sometimes I run to biking, all different types of, even hiking. Hiking is very good. Getting the outdoors, the fresh air is definitely important. And swimming is also great too for the overall fitness too, which is important. Yeah.
Terry Ann says, I'm a power lifter. It changed my life. Do you have a lot of equipment in your own home, like that you use on a daily basis, or do you always have to go to the gym?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do sometimes I do outdoor training and sometimes I do indoor training. So I have bands. I have just different types of. I have a bar. I do have a weightlifting bar here that I have, believe it or not, and I do have plates that I use. But I like working out usually in the gym setting because it's just like more people. I like to be around people, but at the same time, if it comes down to it, if I train by myself, I know how to refocus myself to that too.
So when you win a medal, do you go, it's because I'm vegan?
I say it's because I'm vegan and because I have a good coaching. My coach has definitely helped me a lot, and my support team, my PT, any other people that help me with my mobility, my mobility coach. That definitely helps. It's the whole team. It's the whole aspect of it too.
Do you know someone named Bulent, Bulent?
Yes, 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 yes. We're Facebook friends. Yes.
Well, he's watching and he says, great to see you.
Great to thank you for coming. Viewing.
Yep. And another comment, powerful women. Great that she is vegan. Is there, how long can somebody lift weights for? Because, I think about, I used to know this guy named Art because we used to move a lot when I was younger, meaning like move from one apartment to another. And he was our mover. And, he wore the back brace. And at a certain point, and he wasn't that old, he had to stop because, I know that moving furniture isn't the same as weightlifting, but doesn't it take a toll on your body? It seems like it would be so hard on your back.
Yeah, that's right. So that's where the mobility comes in. The mobility and just knowing how to activate your muscles, and that training is not just for weightlifting, but it's for life. And if you have great mobility and you have great health, you can lift as long as you want. I mean, our masters weightlifters, it started at age 35, and I've seen people at the age of 80 years old, weightlifting. Yes, so it's just depends on your mental capacity, your physical capacity, and it's just the holistic approach of it too as well. But mobility is definitely the key.
Yeah. So Monarch says, would you say the most important part of weightlifting is core strength?
Oh yeah, I like that question. So front squats definitely require you to do it's like a core strength, definitely core strength, mobility aspect that helps. But also I do a lot of core strength with just planks. I do planks a lot for my core strength. I do some part of CrossFit that helps me with my core strength as well. Just against my own body weights, or just different ways of using my body to create the core strength. I don't, back in the day, I would use machines at the gym to help me with the core strength, but you could just use your own body weight by doing a plank. I mean, there's also exercise balls that you could just lift and use it, for your mobility. There's just so many different aspects to help you um, have more, say, muscle and flexibility and have a healthy structural abs. That's the key.
Wow. So a couple of people are putting in the chat that Stella said, Tatiana Kashrina from Russia has the world record in weightlifting. And Lauren wrote, Donna Moore is the strongest woman in the world. And so I Googled one of them and it's like, oh my God, she's 225 pounds and she lifts 100, I don't know, 90 kilograms. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I wonder why they do it in kilograms, because it just sounds like it's less. I mean, pounds sounds like it's so much more.
Right. Yes. Just the way the European style. Yes.
Yeah. This is the weakest link in my well-being is that I don't do anything that's like what you're saying. I mean, I have good habits. Don't get me wrong. I think I eat perfectly and I have the cardio perfectly and I have the flexibility with yoga. But every time I try to get into just doing anything, I get injured. Like I get a trigger thumb, I get a rotator cuff tear. I have such resistance to resistance training. Can you somehow get in my head and make it's just so boring. No offense. It's like, it's so repetitive. Like, help.
But yeah. So definitely, there's fun ways to do mobility. If you have a great coach that will do an assessment of you and you tell them your pet peeves, and then they would cater around that so you would have more engagements and more longevity and keep it up with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I know as you age, especially, it's really important. And I don't know why I can't seem to adopt that. But I'm doing bands now, so that's at least something, but I'm not doing it as much as I should.
Definitely help with mobility, that's for sure. Also using your own body. I mean, I used to, constantly do the foam roller all the time and thinking that, oh, that's mobility. No, you have to actually train the muscles in your body to move. And sometimes when you do it, you might not get the range of motion that you want, but guess what? If you have a specific routine, over a period of time, you will break that and you'll be able to be even more mobile, more flexible. But it's not overnight, and it has to be done practically almost every single day to do it. You can't do it. You can't do mobility once a week and then expect to get results because it takes time.
Right. We just had a fitness guy on the Truth About Weight Loss Summit named Jamie Brankus, and he said, consistency beats intensity every time.
Yes, it's definitely, yeah. Because some days you could do just 10 minutes. Another day you could do a half an hour. Some days you could do 5 minutes. It's basically keeping up with it. Some days you could do more, you could do less, but it's the overall cumulative effect that we're talking about that will get you where you need to be.
Nice. Yeah, but think about it, no other animal lifts weights other than humans. Of course, they carry things on their back, but I don't know. Not that means we shouldn't, but I was just thinking about that. Carla says that Ernestine Shepard is an 84-year-old vegan bodybuilder. And I interviewed Elaine Lane, the wife of Jack LaLanne, and she's like 94 and she still does weights every day.
That's amazing. And also, the thing is that when you're doing weights, you have to have proper form, proper technique. And people watch a lot of YouTube videos and you watch stuff and I'm not saying that people on YouTube are wrong, but there are a lot of people that do it wrong on YouTube. So you really have to get someone that's professional that knows how to train people on lifting it correctly. And I think that's what causes a lot of people to get injured, because they try to copy somebody and thinking that, okay, this has to be done. You really need to have someone who's educated about it, who has great success with helping people to overcome, just getting better.
I agree. Let's see. Here's a weightlifting type question. G says, do you know about practices of any old school lifts like the Steinborn or Hackenschmidt lift?
Wow. Oh my God. I know they're old school lifts, and I never heard of those two, but definitely educate me on them. I would love to learn about them.
Mary says, I used to bodybuild. I won third place in 94 Arkansas Iron Woman Natural Contest Novice Division. Congratulations. I totally respect the hard work involved in this process. Corey Everson was my idol back in the day. Here's a question that you could help us with. Deb was wanting to know, what is the best exercise for stability and balance?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. So stability and balance, it definitely works. First of all, in your mind. And your mind is very important. Your mind has the balance, right? That's important to have that. Being being motivated, being calm. And then the exercise for that would definitely be something that's an overhead squat, where you are standing and you have, like, for instance, like, since I'll give an example of that. Say I'm standing here and I have the weight over my head. So this helps, but then to get the stability, you have to have good ankle mobility, hip mobility. That helps with your stability and holding in your core. So for instance, if I'm going down, I want to make sure that when I'm going down, I'm completely, on my feet. I'm not, see, so here's my feet here. See, on my feet. This is not good. From here, this means my ankle mobility is good. So that definitely, definitely makes a big difference. That you need to have the ankle mobility, hip mobility, to help you with your stability. You can't just all of a sudden just, and then the point where your form breaks down, right? You want to go above that where it's just okay. And then you would work only on that range of motion, right? Say for instance, say I'm going down, right? And I couldn't go all the way down. I'm not gonna do this. I would just stay here and just work through it. And then eventually I was able to go down. Because you don't want to sacrifice form, which can cause injury. That's not good. So you want to just go to the point where the form is correct, and just work in that positioning point. And then over a period of time, if you do it every single day, then you can go down lower, but then that would require working on your ankles and your hip with specific exercises to get to that go all the way down with alignment.
When I do a squat, my heels don't touch, and I've been doing squats since I started doing yoga, which is like 10 years. Is there something wrong with my physiology, or how would I get my feet to go all the way down?
Yeah. Okay. So again, it could be the ankle mobility. Most likely it's the ankle.
I've broken my ankle many times. That's interesting, because Sherry says, how do you improve ankle mobility and strength? I've sprained both a few times.
Right. Yeah. So definitely, ankle mobility, is definitely something where, you could do a band around your ankle, but then the band, if you have a band, the band should be not here. You put the band over here. This is the part where you need to put the band, not here. you need to work this part, this joint. So you need to put the band here, right? And then you would loop it around, have it someplace sturdy, right, where it cannot move. And then you can rock back and forth with that. But the band, again, is people always make the mistake to put the band high up. That doesn't do anything. You have to put the band right here, in this location here, and then you have something in the back to hold it, and you're just have resistance, and you're moving back, hold it there for a few seconds, then back. Few seconds, and then back. Few seconds, feel it, feel that range, see, and then that's one exercise that will help improve ankle mobility.
Nice. Aren't you a raw chef also?
Yeah, I've been raw, I've been a fruitarian. Oh my God. I've been so now I do both. Right. So I do cook vegan, and I do raw vegan cooking, and also I've done fruitarian as well. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Do you have a preference?
That's a good question. I like to do both. I like raw foods, and I love cooked foods. For me as an athlete, I feel that I need both. I need
Nice.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Are there any purely 100% raw fruitarians that are heavy lifters?
I'm sure they are, but I haven't run across them. Everybody's different. Some people just use fruits, and some people, everybody is different. So,
Right.
and that's what everybody's journey.
There's a question. What pea protein do you use? What other sources of protein? And how important is protein for weightlifting? Which macronutrients are important?
Yes. Oh, yes. So I used Premier Research Labs. I use their protein, and it has no fillers, which is great, and they have a lot of amino acids. I highly recommend that as a protein as well. And I also use Jeff Palmer. He's based in Florida. I've used his protein too. Very, very good. Highly recommend him. And for food, it's definitely all different types of lentils. Like for instance, here's something I would have for dinner here, for example. Let me just bring this down here for a second. So here I have lentils. I have different lentils in here. I would use green lentils, yellow lentils, and here's heirloom tomatoes here. I use that, and these are this is different sprouts that I use. This is radish sprouts here that I would maybe have as a meal, depending on what part of my training or what I'm doing. So I use a lot of greens. I do wheatgrass. Wheatgrass also is very high in plant protein. You would have wheatgrass on an empty stomach. You don't want to combine with other foods, for sure. Just all different types of lentils, different types of beans, black beans, quinoa, oatmeal has, protein in it. The nutritional yeast that we mentioned has protein in it. Yeah, that's what I do. And people are so they have to have so much. You don't need that much protein. You have to have a little bit of protein in every meal. That's what I do. Especially because I'm a competitive athlete, so I need to have that. And I want to have healthy protein, and most of my protein comes from food. So that's definitely important.
Nice. Bullen says, Ramona loves the Thrive diet. Could you ask her about it?
Oh my God. Well, you know what? I like my consistent diet is this. I don't have anything really special. If I have a heavy training, I just showed you, I would have something like this, which is the blueberries and the oatmeal in here, and almond milk sometimes, and I can vary. I have different one day I don't make like an oat milk. I have different types of, nut butter milks, right? I have different fruits, maybe not strawberry, maybe blueberry, maybe other types of fruits could be used in here. Sometimes I might not even have this. I might have a mixture of different beans, for a complex carbohydrate protein mix. I mean, it's just, I use fruit. I do eat fruit, in between meals, depending what I'm doing. If I want to have the citrus fruits, that maybe I would use that as a pre-workout, because it gives you that quick energy, and then my lunch is basically going to be different types of sprouts, which I showed you, different sprouts, different, I don't use any oil for the most part. I usually cook with veggie broth. I don't use any oils that much at all for the most part. So I get my omegas through my nuts and my seeds. And, I don't do any gourmet special type of food. I mean, I do like sweet potatoes, and, I would only eat these heavy, I would say starchy foods if I'm going to be doing a heavy lifting. On my non-lifting days, I still eat carbohydrates, but maybe not as much. What else? I mean, it's no, do lentil burgers, and I have onions, maybe tomatoes. It's the kelp as my seasoning here, because iodine is important. I have my B12 every day, my D3, because there's lack of sunlight, especially in New York area, the weather, and it's not much sun. I have D3 like maybe twice a day. So it's nothing really all that special. I do have varieties, but I just have fun with my food, and I know which foods I would need depending on my heavy days, or my light days, or my non-training days.
Mm-hmm. Mary says, have you ever overtrained? And if so, how long was your recovery period?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think overtraining is not listening to your body. And then I've been injured before, thank God, and thank God in this sport, I never had surgery. So I never had that. Most have been taken off maybe it was 6 weeks, and then went back into training. I think it was just not listening to the body. Sometimes it would have been a knee issue or lower back issue. Why? Because maybe at that point in my life, my ankle mobility wasn't all that great. Because lower back pain definitely comes from, if I'm doing a squat and I'm leaning forward, that's because my hips are not mobile and my ankles are not, pliable. And then as a result, I can get stuck, get pain. And so, yeah, I've seen chiropractors and everything. And then I said to myself, okay, I got to work on my mobility. And I think, you can get injured even with great mobility, but I'm just saying that it's less likely, put it that way. And sauna is a good place, to loosen up tight joints, but it doesn't replace the active movement of your body to help release the tension.
Nice. Tammy says, does wheatgrass need to be consumed fresh after pressing, or can it be stored?
That's a good question. I like my wheatgrass. To me, I don't have any problem with the taste of wheatgrass. If you don't like the taste of wheatgrass, maybe some people would just buy the frozen wheatgrass and put it into the freezer and then unfreeze it and then take it. In my opinion, by doing that to its own, you're decreasing the nutrient level, because it's fresh. You have the nutrients right there and then. I get fresh wheatgrass from Perfect Foods, based upstate New York. They come like every Wednesday or Thursday, and it's fresh wheatgrass that I put into my juicer, right? So here is the wheatgrass that I that I use, and I put it into my juicer. And this is something I would, have in the morning, along with that dish that I showed you with the oatmeal and blueberries. Wheatgrass is definitely energy. It's life, and I get fresh. It's fresh, and I put it right into my juicer.
Which juicer do you have?
I have the Omega juicer, the Omega one, the big one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, and what are your next set of goals or aspirations in this field or in general?
Yeah, definitely continue to motivate others and help them, know that they can do it without eating meat, and just inspire people that want to get into the sports, whether it's this sport or just learning how to be vegan and doing it correctly, and also you can have great delicious foods that are low sodium and low in sugar that taste really great if you know how to make it and what resources to go to. Because people get afraid of veganism because they said, oh, it's just this and that. It's more to it. Like, you're a chef, you created wonderful dishes out there. And so, it's just helping people become more educated and more mindful that there are ways to make delicious vegan meals.
Absolutely. Any plans on writing a book, and how can people follow you?
Yes, definitely. I would definitely, I'm open-minded to writing several different types of books for sure, but definitely books that involve athletes, of color, for instance, that want to get into this lifestyle, and just overall people who want to learn about getting into weightlifting with a plant-based mindset. So that's a book I belong definitely read along those lines. And I do have a GoFundMe page for the 2022 World Games that I'm looking for to get assistance for that. That's awesome. And they can find me on my Instagram, which Chef AJ has posted on the link.
It's not there yet, but I will do it as soon as the show's over. Yeah.
So it's New York. So it's New York Ambassador Team Green, New York NY Ambassador Team Green 63 kg. And then I'm on a Facebook as well. And that's, different groups on that. You can connect with me, and Chef AJ will put that link as well. And you can email me. I do accept texts. You can text me at 917-608-0018 if you want to get to me right away via text.
Oh, thank you so much for all you're doing to empower women. Why doesn't one of the protein powder companies get behind you and just fund this so that you don't have to do the games yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question, because this is a master's athlete, age 35 and over, and I'm an athlete, but I'm not a professional athlete. I don't like, I consider myself an overall athlete, whether professional or not. But, I guess it's because it depends, on, it's a different mindset of what the industry is about. So, and that's okay. That's okay with me.
Okay. Any thoughts on, I don't know what this is, BCAA?
Branched chain amino acids. Yeah, they're all vegan branched chain amino acids, and that's in the Premier Research Labs. They have that in the protein powder that I take, and also Jeff Palmer, but he's posted as GEOEFF. That's his name, Palmer. He has a branched chain amino acid brand that's all vegan based. It has coconut in it too for the electrolytes. And I do drink coconut water also for electrolytes too as well. I recommend his branched chain amino acid. If you want specifically just pure branched chain amino acid, I recommend his brand by Jeff Palmer, who's based in Florida, for sure. Yes.
Nice. People are asking what my shirt says. So it says,
Love your shirt.
grow up and eat your damn vegetables. Thank you.
I love that shirt.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thanks so much for what you do. It was so nice getting to know you, and I wish you luck in those games, and I hope you win more medals and inspire more people, especially young women, that you can look really great and still have muscle.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on your show. And I watch your show regularly, and I love your recipes and your food, and you're an inspiration.
Well, thank you, and thanks for being vegan.
You're so welcome, and thanks again for having me on the show.
Great. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.